Hello everyone! So we're going to start the octopus hat today. We're going to be working on the first part, which is the beanie. It's gonna look a little hipster bowlish kind of at the end of it. I'll walk you guys through half of it, and then you guys will be on your own, but I think you guys can figure it out after we get through halfway through it. So you will need, so this is the first part, and if you decide that working 18 pieces, yeah, I've been working through this octopus hat now, and it is indeed 18 pieces so far. And then you have to put them all together. So if nothing else, you at least have a cute little hat that can be worn in the springtime, winter, and fall. Alright, so the beanie part. I put the pattern on the previous post I had showing it off. I just added it, so if you looked at it and liked it and didn't see it, you're not crazy. I just added it because I forgot. It was on another device. It is just a photo of the pattern. I couldn't get the whole file uploaded. So I'll be doing that for each part. As I go along, I'll take a picture of the part of the hat that we're working on and put the part of the pattern up for that. Alright, so as mentioned in a Facebook post a while ago, there is an error in the amount of chunky yarn that you need. I had said 150 yards. It's actually closer to 300, 350. That big ball of yarn that I had last week when I was doing the what do you need? Yeah, that's all gone. I've only done half of the amount of tentacles needed. So, error on the side of caution. Get a little extra on that yarn, that chunky yarn. I just put in an order for some yarn from Paintbox. It's a Paintbox brand, and it's from lovecrafts.com. It's a really good site for yarn, a lot of cheap deals occasionally, really fast shipping, and I got 3 skeins for $9, and it's more than 300 yards there. So it's got some really cheap yarns that you can usually only get in the European countries. So, we'll see how that works out. And also, I'm not going to show you guys how to make the tentacles in the textured yarn. As I was working with it, I realized you guys will not know what I'm doing. I don't even know what I'm doing when I'm working with it. It's kind of just put it in and hope it works kind of thing. So, I'll be using a smoother chunky yarn for the tutorial part here. So, okay. I think that's all the heads up I needed to give you guys, little house cleaning, whatnots. This will likely be a pretty long video. Sorry if I get a little like la 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 or it gets quiet. If you guys start talking to me on here, I'll talk back as long as I see it. So if you're gonna watch live, make some comments, and I'll probably make the bits where it's like really slow go by faster. A lot of it is counting. I won't be counting because I can see it, but you guys might be focusing on counting yourselves, so that's okay. Sorry, I need a stitch marker. I forgot. And so, yeah, okay. So materials you'll need today would be your stitch marker, your H hook, and your worsted weight yarn. Alright. So we're going to start this hat with a magic ring. Now, if you don't know how to do a magic ring, I will do a short tutorial on it. If you do know how to do it, awesome. If you follow the tutorial that I give you and it still doesn't make any kinds of sense, I'll show you the other version of how to start. It's just not going to be as closed on the top. So, there's one thing. Oh, I was going to go over how to hold the yarn really quick too. So if you've never ever crocheted before and this is your first time attempting anything and you're attempting to learn with me right now, it's a hard project, but if you make it through, you'll probably learn how to know how to crochet by the end of it. So to start with, if you're right-handed, you'll probably want the hook in your right hand. You can either hold it as I call the wand style. It's like a swish swish, you use more wrist movements, or you can hold it like pencil style and you It's like writing with a pencil. There's also the knife style where you can kind of act like you're cutting, using it to cut, like when you cut steaks, a steak knife. I won't be showing you how to do those ways because the swish swish wand way is the way I do mine. Holding the yarn, your yarn will be in your left hand if you're right-handed. Again, if you're a lefty, you're doing the reverse of everything I've just said. So to hold the yarn, what you need to do is wrap the yarn around your pinky. Your pinky is going to be essentially your brake. It's going to stop you from having too much yarn go at the same time so you don't lose your tension. So if you don't do anything else, make sure you wrap it around your pinky. Now you can either bring it up on the inside, up and around your pointer finger. The point of this is that you want kind of a trampoline right here. It's a really, the string right here is really tight, and that's to help your tension so that when you're going along, it's easy to grab, you can go faster, and it gets comfortable after a while. When you're first starting out, your muscles are new. The other way you could do it is up over the back of your fingers and over that pointer finger. Again, you make the trampoline again. As you can see, there's a bit more gap there. And this is how I will hold mine, is I have it on the over the back of my fingers. So, all right. I have 2 people watching. Hello. Okay, so that was a quick, fast tutorial on hook and yarn. And now I'm going to completely throw you guys, for you newbies, for a loop and showing you how to do the magic yarn, or the magic ring. I will be flipping the camera around for this part, so let me go ahead and do that and get it to where you guys can watch on how this is done. So hang on. Oh, flip. No flip. Okay, hang on, let's try that again. There we go. Alright, as you can see, I got a cool little desk here. Alright, so to do the magic ring, first of all, as you notice, you could actually tell which direction my hand is. This is my right hand, this is my left hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end of my string, I'm going to flip it over and make a fish shape. Let's see. So you guys see the kind of fish shape there. There's the head, and then there's the little tails there. You want to make sure that the short end is over the long end, and you're going to grab that X that forms there. Okay? I'm going to set up to where the yarn's on my fingers now. I still got my fish shape. Yay, another person watching! Okay, so now what you're going to do is that you're going to take your hook, after you've spread out the loop there, you're going to take your hook and go in, grab the yarn. Ooh. So go in, grab the yarn, pull it through, and then you're going to do 3 chains. 1, 2, and 3. And then from there, you're going to do, as the pattern calls, 8 half double crochets. So you go around 1, and you want to make sure when you're doing this that you're going over the 2 strings here. So you've got your loop string and you've got your short string. So when you do this, you're actually going over 2 strings. And it's important to make sure that you keep those 2 strings together and inside. And by inside, I mean, if you look here, it's inside the stitch. So we're going to do 8 half double crochets. The chain 3 does not count as the first stitch. So let's see, that's 3. Oh, yarn, come on. This is 4, 5. And as you can see, I'm still working with the string on the outside here. It's still getting tucked in there. Need more yarn, hang on. So 5, 6, 7, sorry, Count Dracula coming in. 8. Okay, so that makes 8. Once I have 8 done, you see I have this big old loop here and I still have the string. This is why it's called the magic ring. So we pull it, and as we pull it, that first hole disappears, and we have a nice, clean round going on. Okay? So that is the magic ring start. Okay. Now, if you guys can rewind that and watch it go through again. The other way you can do this, where you don't have the magic ring start, is doing a, oh, got a knot, a chain 4 start. And hang on. So, with the chain 4 start, we're going to just, I do my fancy thing where I do my slip stop. You do your slip knot onto your hook, or do it first and slide your hook in there. And then you're going to just chain it 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then what you're going to do is that you're going to go into your first chain. Okay? Babe. Okay. That was Kyle, just FYI. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to do your your 8 half double crochets into this one hole here. So it gets really tight. So that's 1. And they're all going to be in the same spot. I made this too tight. And it's going to go around in circles anyway. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, so as you can see, this one, yes, it's kind of closed up, but you also, there's a big hole here that will not go away no matter how hard you pull or how tight you go. That hole will always be there. So this is with the chain start. If you can't do the magic ring start, here's a quick comparison. This is a magic ring start in the middle. There is no hole. This is the chain start. There is a hole. Alright, I'm going to go back to the magic ring now. So I'm just going to undo this. Whoop. Do not be afraid to what we call frog your work. If you've made a mistake, just go ahead and undo it. It's totally okay. Alright, so back to this part. So magic ring again, remember? Short string over the long string, making a fish shape. Having your finger go in there to make the hole bigger. Go in, pull through. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sometimes I throw my pinky in there just to stabilize the loop better. And now I'm going to do my 8 half double crochets. Okay, so we got 1, 2, and again, make sure that string is tucked inside your stitches there. 3. If your string here gets too short and you're running out of, we'll call it real estate, but you're running out of string here and you still have several of these to do, you can always pull this early to make your loop smaller and have more string appear there, so it doesn't get tucked in there and taken away. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, there's my 8 again. We're going to pull it closed, cinch it up, and voila. So now I don't have to do any slip stitches into the next stitch as you would normally do with a working in the round. We are going to go straight into the next round. So it's working in a spiral shape, not necessarily just a circle shape. So let's see. I got my notes here. Hang on. I see 2 people are still watching me. Yay! Hello, peoples. Okay. Yep, that's so yeah. So for this next part, we need to remember to count. It is important to count. If you don't think you can keep track of how many you have done, that is when the stitch marker is going to come into play here. Okay? So for round 2, or sorry, they're calling it round 1 in here. For round 1, we are going to do 2 half double crochets in each gap between. Alright, so the first stitch we're going to do, and this is what I do with my extra string so that I just tuck it in there again and it gets worked in there so I don't have to tuck in the final ends later. Okay, so half double crochet, the first stitch we have to go into is between that chain stitch we did and the first half double we did. So we're doing 2 in this spot here. So it's right here. All right, so we're going to wrap it and go in. And that's 1. And that's 2. Now, if you're using a stitch marker, you are going to go put it in the first stitch you made there. And just let it hang out. So that when you go around, when you go around, you'll know that you're supposed to have 16 stitches by the end of this. So if you get to here and you don't have 16 stitches, you know you've messed up and didn't do 2 somewhere. Okay? So with the multiples of 8, as I said, so the second round, aka first round in this pattern, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to say that a few times, we're doing 2 times 8, which is 16. So 2 stitches in each stitch, 16. So we're going to go around, and each of the gaps between the stitches, we're not going on the top of the stitches, we're going in the gaps of the stitches. So my next stitch is going to be here. So I'm going to wrap it and go in. Oh, come on, yarn. So wrap it and go in, and then we're going to do 2 stitches here. And that gives me 4. Sorry, Count Dracula comes out every now and then. So the next one, again, the gap is here. And then 1 and 2, and this makes 6. And then the next gap is a little harder to see, it's right here. And then 1 and 2 makes 8. And then the next gap, which is right here, is 1 and 2 is 10. Let me know if I actually don't get the count right, guys. Sometimes I get my numbers mixed up, especially when I'm on 8s. All right, so that was 10, and then we're gonna go in, and we're gonna wrap 11 and 12, and then wrap for 13 and 14, and this is gonna be the last one. So wrap and go in for 15 and 16. Okay, so now we have finished their round 1 here. And I've got 16, and I'm back at my stitch marker, which means, hey, I did it right. All right, so as you can see, we got a nice little circle, and we're going to expand this out on this next row, row 2, aka I'm counting it as row 3. So we are going to be doing multiples of 3 this time. So we're going to do a 2 in the first gap and a 1 in the next gap here. So it's going 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. all the way up to 24. So we're going to go again in the gap between the stitches. I did 2 there. I'm putting my stitch marker in the first one I did so that I know when I can. Why? Okay. Sorry. Emails. Why are people calling me? So this is 2. And then I'm going to go around to the next gap here. It's a little squishy. And this is 3. And then the next gap is 4 and 5. And then it's going to be 6. And then 7, 8. And then 9. And then 10, 11, and 12. And then 13, 14, 14, and 15. I know that's my 5th set. I have 3 more to go. And 16, 17, 17 there. And then this is going to be 18. All right, and then we have 19, 20, and 21. This is my 7th set. And then we have 21, 22, oh no, 22, 23, and 24. I told you guys I get my numbers mixed up occasionally. All right, so that's 24. All right, so now this next round, we're going to be doing multiples of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 8 is 32. You guys didn't know you were doing math today, I bet. Okay, so again, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 2 and 1, 2 stitches and 1 stitch, and then 1 stitch, 1 stitch for sets of 4. So we're going to do 1 and 2, and I'm going to move my stitch marker into the the first stitch I made. So that's that one, and that's this one here. So when I come to that, I know I need to have 32. So that's 2, and then I'm going to go single for 3, and a single for 4. And then I'm on my next round, my next numbers. So this is 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then it goes 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then it goes 13, 14, 15, and 16. That's my 4th set. We're going to have 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Now make sure you are going into those gaps between the stitches and not the tops of the stitches, okay? So this is 25, 26, 27, and 28. Oh, okay, and then we're doing 29 and 30, and 30, and then 31, 31, and 32. So we're getting a pretty even expansion of a round right now. As long as you keep these numbers consistent, you will get a nice round going on. This is how you work in the round and why counting is important, because if you decide to just go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, you start getting the hyperbolic shape. And that's, you know, the coral shape. Excuse me. All right, so we are now on 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th round. So we'll be doing multiples of 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. So let me move my stitch marker here so I can move it back in place. All right, so we're going to do 2 again. So we have 1, 2, and I'll be putting my stitch marker back in the first one I made. All right, and I'm going to do 3 singles now for 5s. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to do 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then we have 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Then we have 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Then There I'll be doing 21, 22, ooh, 23, 24, and 25. Oh, missed it all. Gotta do 25 again. All right, there's 25. All right, then 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Again, I'm still going in the gaps between the stitches. That's probably why it looks like I'm going really, really fast. All right, and then we have 31, 32, 33, and 34, and 35. Last set. 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. So that would be our 5th round for our 40 stitches. Okay, so the next round is going to be multiples of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on the 6th round. 6 times 8 is going to be 48. We want to end with 48 stitches in this round. So again, we're going to start off with 2 stitches, and then we're doing 4 singletons. So if you can visualize that, that's 6 stitches. We're doing 8 sets of 6 stitches. So we're going to do 1 and 2. And I am going to put my stitch marker in my first one. And because this is where I tend to get my numbers mixed up when I'm counting. So I'm not going to count aloud on this one. It gets embarrassing. So I have my stitch marker there. If I end up with 48, then I am good on this round and I don't have to frog it. So we're doing multiples of 6. So that's 2, 4, 5. Even if you can't count good, it's okay. You're allowed to have flaws. So that's my 12th stitch, I believe. All right. And 6 times 3 is going to be 18. So if you guys needed to go over multiplication tables while you're at home homeschooling, we just did 6 times 3 is 18. So we're now doing 6 times 4 is going to be our 24th stitch here. And now that's 24. So now we're going to do 6 times 5 is 30. Five and 6. All right, now we're on 6 times 6, right? Oh no! Hang on. Faceplant on the camera. Dangers of working with yarn. All right, so now we're on our 36. Oh my gosh! Eventually we'll get 36. There we go. 2, 3. 4, 5, and 6, and then we have now our 6 times 7, which is where I get trouble. It should be 42, right? 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Uh-oh. Yeah, 42. I told you guys it's embarrassing. I can't count right. All right, and this should be our last set here to get 48. 6 times 8 is, or, yeah, 6 times 8 is 48. Four, 5, and 6. All right, so I have 48 stitches now. Okay, so this is the point where if you want a baby size octopus hat, this is the size wide you need. All right, so you would stop at the size 48, and you would continue doing 48 stitches all the way around until you get to round 18. Even though you have a smaller, this part, diameter, you would still need to do the stitches coming down so that it goes over the ears and covers the head. Now, I will say, working this up myself, I went to the recommended 56 stitches for a medium-sized head, which is the next round. And it is very, very, very snug on my head. So there is a modification that you can go up to 64 stitches around to get a large. And I would recommend that if you're doing it for a male, an adult male, or maybe even a teenager male. I would say to do 64 stitches around for them to have that size hat for that person. If you're doing it for a baby, you would stop here. And I mean, it would be a small baby. It's not toddler sized for sure. So, yeah, that's the sizing. With the different sizes around, you would change, there would be a change on the tentacle counts, like how wide you make them. But it's not that much of a difference. And I just realized they didn't have a modification for the back of the head if you go smaller, so we'll probably have to figure that one out too. But so, yeah, if you want a small size, you stop at round 48. If you want medium size for teenagers and smaller female heads, you would do the next round that we're about to do. And for a larger head, you would do one additional round of 8 increases. So 8 times 8 is 64, so you do sets of 8 around to get 64. All right, so I am going to do now 7 sets of 7, so we're going to get 56 stitches. Again, this is one that I have difficulty counting aloud, so, but this time I'll count aloud just so I can keep track of where I am, because it's 7s and 7s are tricky for me. So it's 1 and 2. Oh. We're going to put our stitch marker in, and we want 56 at the end of this. All right, so 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for the first set. Now we gotta go 2s again, 8 and 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. That's our second set. Next number we're grinding up to is 21, 15, yep, 16, 17, 18, 19, woo, 19, 20, and 21. All right, next number running up to is 28, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. All right, next number we're running to is 35. Ugh, you guys can tell me I'm struggling, right? 29, 30, 31, 32. Whoop. Oh yeah. 33, 34, and 35. Then we have 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. And that would be the 6th set. And then it's to 49, so 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 49. And this is our last set, which will give us to 56. So let's go to 56. 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, and 56. Okay. So that is the 56th one. Oh, Mommy's watching. Hi, Mommy. Okay. So with the 56th round, this is where the medium size hat comes in. It looks small, but it does stretch out and expand out. Now, like I said, when I did the 56 before, I definitely felt it was a little snug on my head. So I'm actually going to show you guys how to do the 64 in case you wanted to go a little, you felt like you wanted to go a little larger so that it matches and will definitely fit anybody. So we're going to do 64 here. I'm going to do my 1, 2, and these are going to be sets of 8. So this is 1 and 2. Put my stitch marker. Now guys, if you weren't able to actually buy stitch markers and you're seeing, oh my gosh, this is really, really handy, you can always use, you know, those garbage twist ties or a piece of scrap yarn. The only thing with the scrap yarn is that you have to be able to get it out and have it not fall out on its own. But the stitch markers, if you're going to be making a couple of these or working in the round a lot, the stitch markers are going to come in real handy. So yeah, I highly, highly recommend if you get them. They're like maybe $1 for 10. So it's not like you're, even if you're unemployed, you're not breaking the bank getting $1 worth of stitch markers here. So, or you can do the upcycling of those garbage ties that you probably still have in your junk drawer somewhere. Okay, so going back, we're doing 64 stitches for the large size hat here. So that's, we're doing sets of 8, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oh gosh, and 8. I will point out that if you do a larger hat, you will be using more yarn. I mean, that's kind of dee-dee-dee-da, but you will be using more yarn for everything, including the tentacle, the bulky yarn tentacles. Alright, so that's 8. We're doing 16 now. 2, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. By the way, you're doing 6 singletons here. 1 double and 6 singletons. Alright, so now we're doing 3 times 8, 24, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Woo, more people are watching. Hello, people. Alright, so that's 24. And now we're doing the 5th. So it's, hang on. No, we're not. We're doing the 4th. We're doing up to 32. Sorry, excuse me. Like I said, 8s give me trouble. All right, so that was 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. That was 8 times 4. 8 times 5 is 40. So it's going to be 33, 34, 35. Whoop, here we go. 35, 36. Sorry if it's going in and out of focus here. 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. All right, now we're doing to 48, so that's 8 times 6, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Okay, now it's going to be 7 times 8 is 56. Woo. All right, so 48, 49, and 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Oh, go away. All right. And our last one, we should be getting 64 here. 60. Oh, wait. 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. Oh, geez, what happened there? All right. Sorry, the yarn got really mixed up over here. 63, okay, and 64. All right, so this is the large hat width, diameter. As you can see, it's a little bigger. It's not that much bigger, but it will give a better sizing for pretty much everyone and everything that you want to make this to. Hi, Aunt Jackie. She actually talked to me. Hello. Okay, sorry. All right, so now what we're going to do is that we are going to build out the hat. We're going to start giving it its height. So we are going to do, if you decide to stay at the middle, you're going to do 56 stitches all the way around for the next 7, 10, 11 rounds. Now, I did find that I liked my hat to be a little longer, so I ended up doing 20 rounds total. Now, you can count your rounds like we were doing before. You can kind of see them here. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can definitely see where the rounds are, the little lines here. So if you wanted to do a few extra and just do 20 rounds total, go for it. It gives you about a mid-ear length. If you want to just stop at 18 rounds, that's totally fine too. That's what the pattern calls for. Like I said, I found that I liked it a little bit longer to go over my ears. It also will make the tentacles hang a little bit longer on my back. So that's going to be up to you on what you want to do, because you don't have to be exactly right. You just need to make sure that you stay within your 56, 64, 48 stitches here. So now I'm gonna do this first round with you guys to show you what I mean by keeping it the same. And then after that, it's kind of just going to be the rest on your own, because this is getting rather long and I'm sure you guys are like, oof. But I will still be around so I can answer any questions you guys might have. And if I need to, I can pop back on to video record any kind of comments or concerns you might have. So We're going to start off by here, and this is going to be our first stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my stitch marker here in the makings of that first stitch in that gap. Oh, come on, gap. So now I know I don't even have to count anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a half double crochet all the way around until I get to my stitch marker. I'm going to go in again, move my stitch marker up the next row, and just go all the way around. So I don't even have to count this time because it's a single stitch and between every stitch here with every gap. Just like before, but instead of doing any doubles in one stitch, it's all going to be just one stitch all the way around. And I think I said 56. This one's going to be 64. So we just go up. We're doing our half double crochets all the way around. And this is where I can get a little faster because I don't have to count. You guys might find that it goes a little faster too because you're no longer building out the hat. You are building it up now. So yeah, when you're working in the round, you go out as far as you need to in the beginning, and then you would just make singletons to make it go to get the height that you need. And that's the secret to working in the round, is that you don't always have to increase your stitches. You just increase them until you get the size you want, and then you build the height up. With critters, it's a little different because you got to decrease at some point, which we'll be working on that when we get to the eyes. So, just make sure I got all the notes I wanted to do. Yeah, got all the notes there. So if you guys have any questions, just throw them up there. I should be able to see them as they come up, or my phone will make that weird noise it's been making. Bonus points if you know what that song's from. So yeah, it's now's the part where you get to do the mindless task, and this is when making beanie hats seems like a great idea and easy, because after you get the expanding out on all done, you get to work on making it nice. You don't have to count. You can put the project down, go do something, and come back to it. You can, especially if you're homeschooling at kids and you're done with the multiplication tables that we just went through, and you get to move on to the next thing, and then you can come back to it later to finish up the hat. So since this one is a shorter project to work on, and I don't think it's going to take you guys longer than probably 2 hours to complete it if you've never crocheted before. Even I know it's 20 rows. I think you guys can do that in 2 hours. Don't panic. So I will do the second part of the hat a little later this week, either Thursday or Friday. That one's a little bit more complicated. It's short again though, but it's still a little complicated. So if you have this part done, at least then you can wear this hat while you're working on the next part. And the next part is going to be the back of the hat, where you make the squishy bit, the octopus head bit. I won't lie, I had to frog that part like 6 times to understand it. So lucky for you guys, you know exactly what to do right in the beginning. So as you can see, I've arrived at my first stitch marker for my first stitch that I did. I don't see any mistakes that I made, so I'm going to continue on. I'm going to move my stitch marker after I do this stitch here. I'm going to put it back in, and I am going to continue around. So I'll flip the camera back around now so you guys can see me as I work it. I don't want you guys getting a close up of boobs, so that's why I moved the camera away. Okay, there we go. Hello again. Now it's a face and not just talking hands. Woo! Alright, so if you're still with me, yay! if you've got something like a hat in front of you right now, really awesome, congratulations. If you've never made anything before, congratulations again, you've started something new, and hopefully this is something that you don't get too aggravated with. If you've got something that looks like a spaghetti monster in front of you, don't panic, just frog it and start again. You can start the video again too. That's probably the beauty of this video, is that it's going to be around for a while. You can pause it as you need. You can rewind as you need. So you can, oh, how is that hat made again? Let me go back and see. So yeah, you can totally sell these beanies if you want at like craft fairs and stuff, because they're beanies. Like I said, they're pretty tight, they're pretty hipster. Here, I'll show you. So this is the medium one that I made. I know I look a little bald when I wear them. There we go. So yeah, la la la. As I said, I like it to come down a little bit more over my ears, and then the tentacles will be sitting about here-ish. So if you want them a little longer to cover more of your ears, that's totally fine and perfectly okay. And yeah, so, oh, when you get to the end, I forgot I had this available for you guys. So when you get to the end, you finished your last stitch. Put this back in there. I finished my last stitch. I've gone back around a few times. How to end this? You're going to do a single crochet, kind of just bringing it down, and then you're going to do a slip stitch. So you just go in and you pull it through all the loops at the same time. You do a chain stitch, and when you do this, after you do the chain stitch, you're going to give a cut to the yarn. You can give yourself a little bit of a tail, and you're going to pull the yarn through, and there's a knot there, and that is the end of your hat. And you'll just sew this in at the end, or it's going to disappear when you do the tentacles. So that's ending the hat. So that you want to make sure you do that final chain at the end, because it does give you a really good knot there. Yeah, it's there. I just tricked myself. So that's how you end any project, is that you do that final chain through after doing. Sometimes you don't have to do a single stitch. I do the single stitch just so that I can bring the stitch down and it doesn't have that off-centered look. You can do it if you've got a double stitch. You can do a double, half double, single, and then slip stitch, knot it. Or, you know, in this case, it's just half double, so you can do half double, single, slip stitch, chain, knot. So it just, as you can see, it's a little bit smoother here. You can't really tell where the end is. And that's just a nifty way to end it so that it looks nicer. With this hat, it won't really matter much, just because on the edges of the hat is where we are putting the attaching tentacles. But if you wanted to just do the beanies because you're like, nope, I don't want to put 18 pieces together, I don't want to sew this massive thing suddenly, then you can have the beanies, sell the beanies, make beanies for your family, and just be a beanie making fool. Nah, beanies are fun. They're quick. Like I said, 20 rounds. You guys can do it in 2 hours if you're just starting. Alright, so I think that's all I have for you guys. I'm going to continue working on this so that I'll have it finished for the next lesson. Like I said, probably Thursday or Friday we'll do the second part of the hat. I'll post a picture of it and a picture of the pattern. I will also in the comments post the pattern, the written pattern in the comments, so that you can go back and follow along with it if you want to. There's not too many comments in here right now, so it'll be easy to spot. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off because this is a long video, I know, and I will see you guys on the next time. Remember, if you have any questions, just post them and I'll answer them. All right, bye guys, thanks for joining. There's a couple of you that stayed the whole time. Thank you. I hope you guys are working on beans, and I will see you later this week. Bye.